Hey guys, what's cooking? I'm gonna tell ya. Today I will be making rosemary glazed pork tenderloin and I'll be serving some carrots at the side of that. Okay, so last week I was sitting around trying to decide what I wanted to do this week for a video. And so I went into the pantry, checked to see what all I had in there. And I had seen this, which is a recipe card that I got at the grocery store, like no joke, 2 years ago. I remember walking in and they just kind of handed it to me. And I was like, and I love recipe cards. I'll take all the recipe cards people hand me, right? And then I just kind of throw it in the pantry, along with my flour and all that other stuff, and forgot about it. So I thought we would do this recipe that's on this recipe card. So as you can see on the card, it has pre-measured spices. And then on the back is the recipe itself. So I specifically went and picked out a tenderloin to do this recipe. Tenderloin isn't one of those foods that I really buy too often. Yeah, this was actually my first tenderloin I'd ever made, to be perfectly honest. I've had it in the past, but I've never made it myself. And it turned out great, so I think we're gonna do some other things with tenderloin. I was a huge fan of it. It turned out really good. So let's get to the recipe. So of course you'll need your pork tenderloin, a pound roughly. You'll want 1/4 cup of butter, melted. I didn't actually melt mine in this recipe. I spotted the melted on the recipe card a little late, but it actually came out really good still. So, and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. You'll want to get some carrots. My bag is 2 pounds worth, so I just did up half a bag, so 1 pound of baby carrots is good. Also, it called for an onion. I didn't have an onion in the house, so I omitted that. But if you want to do as I'm seeing on this recipe card, add an onion, cut it into wedges, and you'll just be adding them with the carrot mixture at the end. And the pre-measured spices that you'll be using that is on this recipe card is 1 teaspoon of rosemary leaves crushed, 1 teaspoon of thyme leaves, and 3/4 teaspoon of dehydrated minced garlic. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is preheat your oven. So preheat the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. And then while that's preheating, we'll mix up our glaze. So get yourself a big bowl, and we're going to mix in the butter, the brown sugar, all the spices, including the salt and pepper, and then just give that a quick mix. Then just place your pork on a foil-lined baking pan. And you're going to spread half of the mixture over the pork. Now, like I said earlier, it does call for melted butter. So if you melt the butter, you would just be able to pour it over top. Because I didn't melt it, it was more like a glaze. And I'm kind of happy I did it that way because sometimes I find when it's liquid, it kind of loses a bit of the flavor in the mixture. So totally up to you. You can either melt the butter, have it be a pour-on type glaze, or you can do how I did and not melt it. So as you can see, we still have half our mixture left. So now what we're going to do is put the carrots into the mixture, mix it up, and then we'll lay it around the pork in a single layer. Also worth noting that if you added the onion, this goes in with this mixture here. So carrots, onions, and the last half of your mixture. And that is it. At that point, you're popping it in the oven for 35 minutes roughly, or if you like to use a meat thermometer or anything, the temperature for that would be 160 Fahrenheit. And then once that's done, you just take it out, slice it up, and serve with veggies. This was delicious. I really enjoyed this. So this recipe does serve 4. And it was very delicious, and I think it turned out great as my first tenderloin I'd ever made. I definitely have plans to do more with tenderloin. I really enjoyed it, and I'd like to experiment with some other seasonings and other ways I could make tenderloin again. So we will be seeing this particular type of meal returning. So I hope you enjoy. Happy cooking if you're going to make this. You're going to definitely love it if you like pork tenderloin. We'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.